you mentioned genetics, and I did want to talk about that. So you had this heart condition, which was they said was genetically
Right.
something that happened in your home. So um, or in your family, I should say. And a lot of times people will use genetics as like a scapegoat for I'm not doing anything, or like this is the reason I'm not getting results. Like um, when you found out it was genetic, did that really do anything for you, or were you like, I accept it and I'm gonna move on
Right.
and do what I can? Because I think that's what trips up a lot of people.
Yeah, I had to accept that it's just, because there was people in my family thinking, oh, maybe you over exercise, and
Mm,
it's like, no, the doctor said it's genetic. So to me, that was a relief knowing it was something that I didn't do to myself. But they said you were just born with this defect, and it just became more pronounced over time as you got older. But well, everything works out for the best.
yeah, and you learn a lot from that too. It's
Yeah,
that's
it put life in perspective, honestly, because it just made me feel that life's not perfect.
yeah.
And
You gotta play the cards as much as well as you can for yourself, because stuff like that, there's so much uncontrollable with our health
right,
that we can't do anything about. And that's 100% true. Like, somebody may have a genetic predisposition to be an alcoholic. So they might have a tougher time struggling, with consuming just a little bit and not being able to tamp it down. Some people might be hungrier than other people, which is something that is genetic. And a lot of people will look at that as, well, it sucks and that's life, so I'm just not going to do anything about it. But I think the mindset of trying to flip, like, okay, yes, it's tougher for me, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I'm going to learn a lot
right,
about managing health and wellness with what I can do versus maybe a professional athlete who genetically always looks good, can eat whatever they want. um, I sometimes think that those athletes are actually set up for failure long term, because they do a lot of things in their athletic life or when they're younger that they can get away with, and then it catches up to them. Where I'll meet some older adult who's 80 and they're like, "Yeah, I did track and I benched this and I did that, but now I can barely get out of my chair." I'm like,
right.
interesting how that happens. And so I think sometimes genetics looks is often looked at as a bad thing, of like, I have bad genetics, so I gain weight more than other people. That might be true, but also you learn a lot of tools on how to manage that, and some people never get the opportunity to learn how to manage themselves.
Right. So true. So true. I've met some ex NBA players, because when you're tall and thin like me, structural integrity is important.
You're getting shoved into all the
Yeah, and these
AAU
guys, their
stuff.
knees, their
Join
back,
us.
and if they don't make adjustments, you see a lot of them can hardly walk, when they get 60, 70 years old. So, I mean, I think people just have to learn what works for them and try it, and try to just, your cup is, you got to keep it half empty because you got to want to learn more as you go along in life.